Good afternoon over there in Turkey. There's lots of people building uh, on chain over there in Turkey. It's amazing. Cool. So we'll give it another minute for people that are joining. All right. I see Mumbai tuning in here. Looks good. Later today, we're doing a office hours completely in Spanish for Latin America. So coming up here in about 2 hours. That's pretty cool. All right. What do you think, Aniket? Should we go ahead and dive in?
Yep, hopefully we can
Great.
start.
Okay, so first off, thanks for joining us today. Also, like huge hands clap for everyone that's participating in this Buildathon. I've been in this space for over a decade, started like in 2013. And I can say that this is honestly the best time to be coming into this space, to be building in the space, working in the space. And the reason for that is because it's one of the first times we're actually not limited so much by technology anymore. The early days of Bitcoin, so much amazing talent and innovation still there. We see like even with Bitcoin, it's not going anywhere, but we moved to Ethereum because we need something that's Turing complete. We can build smart contract applications. It's got faster confirmation times, and even in that, like we saw that we can do all these things. So many people are using it, but oh my gosh, it's so expensive. There's so much volume on the network, and now on L2 on base, combining that with things like Smart Wallet, Paymasters, where you don't even have to have your first ETH to do things on chain. It's one of the first times where a lot of these things you may have heard over the last decade about, an open economy, a new way of building a better world that everybody can be part of, that's equitable. A lot of those things are just now, really within the last 9 months, um, becoming more reachable and accessible and possible than ever before. So, um, again, just cheers for being here. And so today we're going to dive in, and this workshop's all about just perfecting your Buildathon submission. If you have any questions at any time, just throw them in there in the chat. We'll try to pause and answer them. This is going to be a pretty quick, streamlined workshop. It's just mainly for helping you. Like you've done like basically the hard work. The hardest part of this is like, how the heck do I get this technical solution together? Like, what's my idea? How do I get this into some form of reality? And so our job here is just like, to shake your hand and be like, okay, look, here's all you need to do on the DevFolio side to have like a really perfected and polished submission. And so it's also like with having some days left in the Buildathon, it's a good opportunity to um, take a little bit of a look back and be like, oh, are there any things that maybe I didn't think about with what I've built so far? Um, what can I do to really ratchet this up and level it up even more heading into the final days? So that's what we're going to cover here on this Base Around the World workshop. I'm going to go ahead and dive in. I see some other folks have joined as well. We got Japan here. What's going on, Brian? We also got Tunisia. So that's just so cool. Literally people all over the world. So this is what this is all about. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Going to pull up Colombia. What's up, Daniel? Pull up our workshop. So what is this? What have y'all been participating in? Y'all know, but maybe some other people that are tuning in. What's Based Around the World? Well, throughout this month, starting in September, we're going to be announcing winners next month in November. We're building around the world. This is one of the first times where, as I said before, we're not limited by technology anymore. A lot of these parts of the world that are some of the most closed areas of the world where people don't even have access in a lot of ways to just TradFi or maybe peer-to-peer type commerce, just things you can do with Web2 with credit cards. On-chain unlocks all of that. And so we're like, we have like over 100 ETH in prizes for different regions of the world: India, Latin America, Africa, Southeast Asia, and these are only the first four. We're just getting started with this. So, um, as part of the world, as like this tour around the world, we're already seeing like all kinds of like people participating, and we got almost 2,000 people registered around the world so far. That's just building part of this buildathon. It's 400 cities, 60 countries, and so it's just like really amazing to see that. There's a lot of people out there that be looking at things over the course of their life and be like, you know what? A lot of these systems that I've been a part of that are for me aren't really helping me that much. They're actually kind of stopping me from doing things that I want to do. They're pretty close. They kind of limit me from being able to transact freely or sorry about that. Looks like my screen dropped. I'm going to go ahead and reshare that. Anyways, as I was saying, a lot of people are just like, you know what, these systems that I've been a part of really aren't working for me. There's got to be something better, and so that's really the core ethos of this buildathon is being a part of an open economy that anybody can contribute to. Like if you're in one part of the world, you want to work online in another part of the world, like how much you get paid shouldn't have anything to do with that. It should be about the value you contribute, and so this is one of the best times to enter this economy. And so, um, I keep getting dropped from Zoom for some reason. So,
I can take up screen share if that helps.
yeah, you want to go ahead and do that for me, and then that way people don't
Sounds
have
good.
to. Yeah, sorry
Yeah.
about that. For some reason, Zoom keeps kicking me out. So I'm going to stand by for a second. Wait for Anakit to get the screen up. All right, cool. So anyways, as I was saying, I'm sorry that I keep getting booted from Zoom. If you're seeing this recording for the first time, if you're watching live right now, you still have some time to be part of this buildathon. So just hit the QR codes right there with your phone. We have 4 regions you can participate in: Africa, India, Latin America, Southeast Asia. This buildathon is all about local impact, building on base. And so we're going to talk through that as we continue with these slides. Go ahead, Anakit, if you don't mind. So as I said, we're going to be going through like what's a buildathon submission, what's like the most important things that you can include. So go ahead, Anakit. I think you put the first thing that's the most important thing that you can put in your Buildathon submission, and that's a live project link for judges to use. This is, you'll notice when you go in to make your submission, there's all kinds of things you can write about what you did. You can add links. You can add, your X profile, etc. The most important link that you can include is that live link that somebody can use to try out what you've built. That will say thousands of words more than you can put in your written submission. So this is the most important thing. You still have days to finish your Buildathon submission. This is the core area to focus on if you haven't spent time perfecting that link, that the first thing the judge sees when they look at your page is on the left side, those links, the link to what you built. So that is the most important thing. The next important thing is the unique selling point of what it is that your product is, your project, your submission. Like it should be really clear. What is this? What does it do? And you shouldn't have to write paragraphs of text. You shouldn't even need like a really long explainer video. When the judge clicks that project link, they arrive on your homepage. It should be really clear within about 5 to 10 seconds. This is what my project is. This is the unique selling point. This is who it's for. And so that's the second most important thing you can include alongside a live project link. All right, Anakit, if you don't mind continuing on there, helping me out. And then we have several different categories that comprehensively your project's going to be judged on. So when you push that submission in, these are the things that the judges are going to be looking at. So first, on chain. Is this actually something open and permissionless? Is it on base? Is it creating transactions on chain? Can somebody connect their wallet? Can they, in a completely permissionless way, interact with what you built? And so, in the context of like an actual site, that's one path, like, using on chain kit, being able to actually transact on mainnet. If you're doing something that's more so like no code, maybe you're doing like a video series, or you're doing some type of blog, some type of content creation. Is there a way that they can collect this? Is there like an NFT associated with it? Is there a collection associated with it? What part of that is on chain? How are more people coming on chain by using what you've built? Next, these other ones are pretty straightforward from all kinds of like Buildathon / hackathon projects. Technicality, practicality, those two go hand in hand. Like, how did this person put this together? Is it well built? Is it efficient? Like, is it buggy? Like, is this breaking when I'm trying to try it out? Practicality, like, is this something that makes sense? Like, if am I building um something that actually probably the majority of people aren't going to be able to use? Is it only for one person? Practicality, how does that fit in with others? Originality, is this an exact copy of something that already exists, or is it completely unique? This is something that where you're from, people have never seen it before. Aesthetics, of course, like, does it look good? Is it hurting my eyes? Are my eyes bleeding when I'm looking at this page? I'm just kidding. But you know how it is. Like, we want people to be able to come to what you've built and not be focusing on like, oh, this design's kind of off. Like, we want to be focusing on just the novelty of what you made. Like, this makes somebody's life better by having spent that time to connect with it. That kind of aesthetic. Um, Next, wow factor. That one speaks for itself. Like, when somebody goes to it, is it, oh my goodness, this is amazing? How does that rank from the judge's perspective when they go to that live project link? And the last thing here is local impact. As I was saying before, this is one of the best times to build on chain. It's never been easier. The technology has never been so immediate, so close to us to make it easy for people to join an open economy. And so, thinking about the part of the world that you live in, what are the types of problems that people have that by and large are closed, are brought on by these closed systems? So, what's the local impact of what you built? How does it help people around you? How does it help you? How does it make the world better? And so, those are the 7 issues that the judges are going to be looking at. They're going to be scoring on. So, as you're putting together your submission, really important that you're thinking about each one of these, because collectively that's going to be like your total score. And just reinforcing one more time, like, the most important thing that you can include alongside this submission is that live project link. So alongside that live project link, how does it score well in terms of on-chain, technicality, practicality, originality, aesthetics, wow factor, and of course, local impact? All right, Anikit, if you can continue driving here. So next, this is a really interesting way, and I'm glad that this slides in here, to look at your submission, like hacker to founder. What does this mean? How do you go from hacker to founder? Well, so like we like, a hacker doesn't even just have to be somebody that writes code. It can be somebody that's putting together some type of content, like a YouTube video, a blog post, an NFT collection. So hacker mentality is like, okay, I'm scrappy. Like, how are we going to do this? Like, we have, limited amount of time in this buildathon. Everybody's in hack mode at the beginning of this buildathon. I need to get this technology together. I need to get my solution together, this idea out of my head, make it a reality so that it can actually be used. So that's starting as a hacker. Next is, how do I progress that beyond something that's just a prototype? How do I go into founder mode? How is this something that after this buildathon, people in the world are going to use this? The first people are going to find about it because of this build, find out about it because of this buildathon. What about the next 100 people, the next 1,000 people? How am I putting together something that scales? And that's a founder mentality. How is this going to progress beyond this buildathon? How are you thinking about, I have this idea, I made this prototype. Now, the most important part, how do I build a community around this? how do I start getting people's feedback? How do I start incorporating that feedback and making this idea better so that for as many people as possible, it solves a problem for them and then starts to grow on its own. And so that's going from that initial hacker mentality that we all have when we enter into, like, even if it's not in a buildathon, when you have that idea, the first place we go is hacker mode. And then how does it progress to founder mode, where this is the real deal, the real thing, that project that stands the test of time, that months from now, people are using and is thriving in this open economy that I'm talking about. So continuing on, Anakit, if you don't mind. Yeah, one of the most important parts of being in founder mode, as I was talking about with building community, is being a user. So like we start with this kind of idea of manifesting what we want to do in our head. And for like the first, you know, maybe week, 2 weeks, even the first few users, you're really driving this. But at some point, you have to make this shift to, all right, I have a few dozen people now that are around what I've built. Or in some cases, it might be really hard to even get those first few dozen users. And the best way to figure out how to get more is to be a user, to step outside of yourself, look at it from their point of view. Is this something, for example, I was just posting about this on X earlier. Is this something that like passes the normie test? And so I call this the normie test, in the sense that somebody that's never done something on chain before. There's so many people around us wherever we live in the world. They've heard about crypto, they've heard about blockchains, they've heard about on chain, but they don't really know what it is. They've never used it. And so when we're building something that's competitive with something else that exists that's part of a closed system, that mental reference for a person that's never been on chain before, it needs to pass the normie test, so that when they try out what you've made for the first time, it's really easy, simple. It compares in their mind to this off chain, this closed tool that they've been using, and it's easy. And most importantly, it's better. So being a user is like a really good way to introspect into how you can change things after you've translated this idea into a reality further, so that it can be as useful as possible to as many people as possible. So um, yeah, Anakin, if you could continue on, and just like this is kind of just like a reiteration of that, like know the target group you're going after. So if you're building something for musicians, like doing on-chain music, again, it's really important to be a user, know your target group. Like, what are people using to make music off-chain? How can they put music on-chain? And I'm just using like a hypothetical example here, so that like these other platforms aren't getting like gigantic cuts of what they made. These artists are then owning so much more for the time they're putting in, creating, connecting, putting something out there to the world. But how do we know that group as well as possible, so that the solution that we're putting in front of them is an easy change for them to adapt to? It's not requiring them to spend hours, weeks watching videos like, how do I figure this out? The easier that somebody can just, within the first few seconds, stumble upon what you've done, that live project link, and get that aha, this is awesome, this is better than what I had before. That is the most telltale sign that you really, really know well what your target group is and the type of solution that they need. So continuing on, Anakit, if you don't mind, yeah, being close to the cause, like there's so many things that are out there that you can build for, wrap solutions around, advice that I think that, for where we are in the project right now, like we're getting closer to the end of the buildathon. So thinking about like, okay, you have this initial idea. Is this something that can be further revised, that's really close to something that you know well? Like if I'm trying to build something that's something I've never used before, don't have any experience with, I'm not so close to that cause. And so where that starts to give me issues is when I want to be the user. I want to know the target group. Well, I don't know that target group very well because I'm not part of that target group. I'm also not really that user. So that doesn't mean you can't do that. It just means it's going to be harder because you're going to have to spend a lot more time building that community to understand what it is that they need. And the closer you are to the cause, the easier it's going to be for you to empathize, sympathize, and create mental models around these problems that these people have. And it's going to make it easier for you to focus on the tech, the product, to deliver a solution that's really close to the mark of what they need the first time you put it out there. So all right, Aniket, if you can continue on. Yeah, so at this point, now like we kind of went through the high level stuff. We're just going to focus more so like on the technicals of Devfolio. Aniket's going to take over. I also just want to check before we do that. It looked like maybe there were some comments in the chat. Just going to double check. I see Buildathon pushed us to make incredible progress in a short amount of time, helping us refine our ideas, accelerate development, and connect with like-minded builders. Huge thanks. Huge thanks to you all. Like we're all doing this together. Like we like. There's a saying that's like, alone we move fast, together we go far. And so like just this is all for us. Like we're doing this together. We're making change around the world. One of my favorite things about being part of this ecosystem is looking at the news as a planet. It feels like we've never been so divided. There's, civil unrest, there's protests, there's wars, there's so much negativity out there. And one of the greatest things that I love about Base, about this ecosystem, is that like among us, we're just like different avatars. It's like saying good morning. There's no race, there's no difference of religion, there's no difference of gender. We're all coming together in this big open forum to try to say, hey, listen, we're trying to make a better world. And so, yeah, we're all doing this together. All right. And then let's see. Yeah, Toluwan said hacker to founder mode. Yeah, that's what it's all about. And then Daniel was saying artists and creators need on-chain tools in order to have platforms that recognizes the quality of their art. So much impact that could be done. On-chain is for everyone. Yeah, that's it. So cheers, y'all. I think let me take, there's one question. Onur was saying, we are an NFT collection, but we also have a full body character in a game where this character is played. We've uploaded the collection to the testnet, updated our GitHub link, and received a verified audit report. Are these developments sufficient? Yeah, so absolutely. That sounds like you've done really like all kinds of comprehensive work thus far in the Buildathon. And so in terms of like thinking about how you can really take this to the next level, I think it's like, you're already started in hacker mode and you're getting out of that now. You're like in founder mode. So the judges are going to look at this and like, how can you, 10x more into founder mode? Okay, we got the NFT collection together. We got the full body character in the game. What are the next like 10 things you're going to do? What are you going to do next week? What are you going to do 2 weeks from now? What's the roadmap look like a month from now? Putting that into the submission, it's just like judges are going to see that and be like, okay, like this person's this team, they're getting off the ground, they're flying. So I had to get disconnected one more time for good luck before we hand off to Aniket. Anyways, but judges are going to look at that and just see that, hey, these people are the real deal. So the last thing I was just going to say is if you want more inspiration, just like looking at past submissions from other times when we did a huge Buildathon in June, go to base.mirror.xyz. And on that, you'll see a link to announcing the on-chain summer Buildathon winners. On that post, you can see all kinds of people that won in June. And so if you're like, hey, I'm putting my submission together, you want to look at some other submissions that actually won, go ahead and give that a browse between now and the end of the this current Buildathon, just to kind of get more inspiration from folks that ended up taking prizes. So all right, Aniket, I'm going to hand back over to you. So sorry, y'all, for some reason, Zoom doesn't like me today. It keeps kicking me out. But we're still rolling. So cheers.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Will. I am just going to go back to my slides. Um, just a quick confirmation if my screen is visible.
Looks good.
Awesome. Thanks. All right. I'll be covering what you really need to submit on DevFolio, just uh, walking through the details, the fields that are actually required, just so that you also kind of get a heads up on what you want to submit. Usually, people build a lot of stuff, but if they kind of procrastinate this towards the end of the buildathon, then there's a lot of things that you miss on adding. So it's better to know what fields you are expected to add before. Kind of have a mental model ready for them, and then once you're ready to submit your project on DevFolio, it's all very clear to you what needs to be done. So I will just quickly walk through the project submission flow. So the first thing is you need to head over to your project dashboard on DevFolio. So the dashboard links are different for different buildathons. I have actually prepared the list of links. Let me just, I think Zoom's hanging up for me. Okay, let me just paste the link here. So as you can see, I have dropped in the links for each of the dashboards. So wherever region you have applied in from, you can just go to the dashboard and that will open your project submission dashboard. And this is what you will exactly see. So my demo is basically on based India. So that's why I see based India over here. And quickly talking about the project submission flow here. So you can submit as a solo or as in a team. So if you're hacking solo, the tab is already selected by default. You just click on the plus icon to start adding your project. And if you're submitting on a team, all you have to do is if you need to create a team, so there's an option to just create one that generates a unique team code, and that team code needs to be shared with other builders who can just add it and join your team directly. So it's pretty straightforward. And do note that all team members must be added before submitting the project. So ensure that everyone's added and then only you initiate the project submission. And the person who creates the team is the team admin, and they will be the one who's responsible to submit the project. Cool. And then just quickly going through like all the fields that are there, we'll also do a very quick demo just so that you can see it live. But project name, tagline, why are you participating for the based buildathon in your region? What challenges you're focusing on? How does your submission address this challenge? As you know, like the primary prompt for this buildathon is that you're building for your local community. So these questions are extremely important to us, and will also be one of important field to consider while the judges would be going through your project. So we really want to know the story behind your project. How is it addressing the challenges? How is it solving it for the people? How is it bringing more people on chain? Everything we're looking for in the submission. And do note that these are mandatory fields. So please make sure that you have prepared it well in time. All the technical stuff gets done. I can understand that, but these are the things which you also need to give some time to. Challenges I ran into, this is just like there is no buildathon where everyone or anyone has just flawlessly built their entire project. There could be anything that pops up. So we kind of like to know the story behind that. So that is just a field where you can add it. If you don't have any bugs, then perfect. Like, kudos on that. Additional features. So if the project was started or built before this had buildathon, we want you to explicitly mention over here that what was built before the buildathon and what was built during the buildathon process. So this is important for us to know because the judging will be done on the progress you have made during the buildathon period. So please make sure that you're explicitly adding this field in case if you have started your buildathon project before it started, before the buildathon itself started. Next is the technologies used. These are just technology tags, just added React base name smart wallet. Important links, any all links, as Will mentioned, your live project link should be here. And in addition to that, the public GitHub link to your repo, um, Figma presentation, anything which you feel that supports your project well. And if it's an app, maybe the Play Store or App Store link or a test flight link, whatever it is. You can add up to 5 links over here. Then the video demo, you can upload your recording on YouTube, Dailymotion, Vimeo, or if you don't have any recording software already handy with you, we also have a very neat integration with Loom. So you can just start recording on Loom without leaving the Devfolio platform. And once you're done recording, it automatically pastes the link in the video field. Um, and then you add all the screenshots and logo which is there for your project just to make it look much better. Um, and then at the end, once you're done filling all the fields, you'll see a preview submission button that highlights. If it doesn't highlight, just click on it so that it will take you to the field which is yet to be filled. And like once all mandatory fields are filled out, this button will pop out. And then you can just see a quick preview of all the fields that you have added. And you can just hit save. You will be taken back to your dashboard. Do note that your project is still in draft. To be able to be eligible for a submission, you will need to click submit project for judging. So let's say if you want to edit it further, you can click on edit over here. But if it's all good, you can submit the project for judging. And also note that you can still edit your project after submitting it for judging till the deadline. And so what we would highly recommend here is that you submit your projects now, even if it is half baked. You can just add boilerplate stuff just so that your project submission is in, it's public, it's out there, it is registered on the platform, and then you can keep editing it. So the latest version that is submitted before the deadline is what will be reviewed. So you don't have to worry about previously half baked things that you may have submitted. Whatever you have submitted till the end of the deadline is the thing that will be considered. So it is very important to get the submission in, because if the deadline passes by and you have not even created or pushed your submission for judging, then it will be very difficult for us to accommodate that. Cool. What I will do is I'll quickly spin up for everyone. Will not take more than 5 minutes. I will just set it up one sec.
And if you want, Aniket, while you're pulling that up, looked like we had one question from Ivan. He said, I have submitted my project, but a couple of hackers were still missing in the team. Now I can't add them. What should I do to make sure all contributors are mentioned in Devfolio?
Sure thing. That is something you may not be able to do it directly from the platform, but I'm just adding it. I'll just drop in the email. So just reach out to us on help@devfolio.co with your project link, your team, and the Devfolio usernames of the people you wish to add, and we can help you with that.
Cool. Yeah, there you go, Ivan. So just email help@devfolio.co and they'll help you add them. So cool.
Just a quick check if my screen is visible.
Yeah, looks good.
Awesome. So this is the dashboard that you will be seeing. I'm having a little bit of internet issues. Okay, here it's. So this is the dashboard that you'll see. If I'm submitting solo, I can just create on the plus icon and that will initiate the project submission. And what we were just seeing, the team submission flow, is create a team over here, create the team, and then share it, share the team code that is generated with other people for them to join the team. Um, just getting back here. And once you click on the project submission flow, these are the fields which we just talked about. Project names, I'm just going to add like very boilerplate stuff for now. Your project name, your tagline, explaining the motivation behind behind participating in this hackathon. In the buildathon. What challenges you're focusing on, submission, how does your submission address this challenge. um, I'm just adding like really boilerplate stuff. um, but yeah, um, challenges ran into, just the thing we just discussed. Additional features, so in case if there is if you have built out your project completely from scratch at the start of this buildathon, everything is within the duration, then you can choose to leave out this field, or else like if there's something you want to mention that you had started before the buildathon, please make sure that you add it here. Technology is used. I'm just gonna add React for now. Links to your important repos. So I'm just gonna add like a GitHub link. And as I said, you can add YouTube videos or Dailymotion Vimeo or like the Loom integration that we have on Devfolio. If I just click on Let's Go, and I start recording, all my camera, mic, everything will be automatically set whatever the system default is. You can directly record it from here. There's a 5 minute limit, and once you're done recording, it will automatically just paste the link over here. So you don't really have to set up any OBS software, any recording software. It's just very simple here on Devfolio. So I'm just gonna add like a YouTube link for now. Images that will help support your project, which platform this project is built for. I'm just going to put web for now. I'm just going to click on preview submission. So as you can see, like whatever you've filled, you'll just get a very quick glance on what you have built so far, what you have added so far. And like other images will also show up here. It's just I didn't add it for now. And then once it's all done, you click on save project. Do note that this is not the end of your submission. This is just you're saving and creating your draft first. I think my internet is taking a little hit right now. Live demos, I mean, like things happen.
Yeah, and just while that's saving, just following on to Anikit's point, think about it kind of like how you're drafting an email. Like you're putting all the content in right here, you're getting it all set up, you can save it. But this step right here, which Anikit's showing, is the most important step that you don't forget to do. Is after you save it, you got to submit it. You have to send the email. You have to send all the info in. Otherwise, it won't land in front of the judges.
I think I just accidentally deleted my draft. My bad. Just going through it at speed. Yeah. Yeah, I think I must have missed something, but yeah, this is pretty much how the submission flow looks like. Let me just go back to the slide. Um, just
Yeah.
it's just live demos
And
are
then,
quickly at
if
times.
y'all running into issues like Anikit mentioned, help at devfolio.co, and teams right there to help you. So if you have an issue there, it's Sunday. Hey, I'm trying to submit this. It's not going in. We're not trying to. We're trying to make it easier for y'all to submit your work and build and have a chance to win and beyond. So don't sweat it. Just let us know. Drop us a line.
Yep, thanks for that. And yeah, like once you have created the draft, this is how it would look like, and just click on submit project for judging, and you will be all set. And you can still edit your project till the deadline, even if it is submitted for judging. So, would highly recommend that you register. Like the submission needs to be registered on the platform. This is what you should see, and then of course you'll have an edit project CTA, which will allow you to edit it.
Yeah, exactly. So knowing that you've successfully submitted your project, you should see that screenshot on the right where it says edit project. If it says submit project for judging, that means the judges can't see it yet. So it's really important you hit that blue button before the end of the Buildathon so that you get it in before the deadline. And if you have any problems, just let us know. Cool. All right, so I'll pick it up from there. We got mentorship hours coming up next. We're going to be over in Gather. If you've never used Gather before, it's kind of like a virtual office that if you don't mind, Anikit, you can come over to the next screen. It looks like this, and so y'all can join. This is a great area to just hang out with us and share what you've built so far. If you want to pitch it, like you run into a technical issue, you just want feedback, you just want to hang out, come on over. We have a QR code. And the Zoom gods had to mess with me one more time and kick me out before the end of this workshop. But if you scan this QR code, that's going to give you an invite to get into this base build space. And you can come out, show us what you're building. We'll get feedback, and we're going to be hanging out there during this next hour. So last thing, I thought I saw some questions in here, but I got disconnected. Anikit, could you just double check the Q&A? I wanted to make sure that people that had questions got them answered. I'm going to look in our chat as well. Aman said, I submitted my project for judging during the mid Buildathon check-in. Is there any problem? If you see, okay, yeah, you're getting a
All
thumbs
good.
up from Anakit, all good. Emmanuel saying, hey, I need a blockchain dev and UI person to work with. Email me. Emmanuel, come over to the base Discord. There's like at any point in time, like 20,000 people online, base.org/Discord. That's a great place to ask for, other people to check out what you're doing and try to build some connections where you can get a developer or builder to work with you. Druva said, is there a time limit to how long the recording should be? It should be approximately like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. You essentially just want to be able to give like the quick high level overview of what you did, summarizing what's on that live project link. So you don't really want to go longer than that. It should be really clear from a shorter video that, these are the XYZs, the ABCs of what it is that you built and what it's all about. Cool. All right, y'all. Well, I think that's about it. Thanks, Anakit, for sharing those links. I'm also just going to share a link in here to the winners from our June Buildathon. If you want to click that link, you can go in and see like, hey, what do the submissions look like for some of these projects in particular. I'm going to try to share my screen one more time if I don't get kicked off by Zoom. They said, no, you can't do it. It's like I share my screen, I get the boot. Okay, so on that link, I wanted to mention there's this one section called Unplugged. And so these are projects that wrote little to no code. So anyone can be a builder on base. You don't have to be like a JavaScript developer, a Rust developer. You can, and you can do great things. But anybody can build on base. So you'll notice in that unplugged track, there's people that won that were content creators, the people making local impact around them, doing things to get people on chain. And that was actually the most winners, the largest prize pool that we did in June. A bunch of people also won building out some really awesome, cool technical things, but just wanted to close on that note that just because you can't write code or you don't know how to write code, you don't have time to learn, before the end of the Buildathon, there's still a lot of things that you can build and do. So check out that unplugged track. And yeah, thanks for coming and watching this live. If you're watching this later as a recording, just all y'all, thanks so much for sharing your time. And just so exciting to be here building on base together. So cheers, and see you all in the community, in the judging, after the Buildathon and beyond. So take care.
Yep. So, folks, if you have any other questions pertaining to DevFolio or the base Buildathon in general, feel free to join the base Discord, where we have dedicated channels for each region. I'm also just dropping in the link. So we are active over the weekend as well, especially with the DevFolio submissions bit. So feel free to tag us. We will also just drop a quick introductory messages so that you know who to tag when you need any help with DevFolio. And yeah, we'll see you there. Thanks, everyone.